This morning, rap mogul Jay-Z is denying allegations he assaulted a 13-year-old girl alongside rapper Sean Diddy Combs. That civil lawsuit filed against Combs in October was amended Sunday to include Jay-Z. The accuser, identified only as Jane Doe, says she was sexually assaulted by both men at a Video Music Awards after party in 2000. In a blistering statement, Jay-Z accuses Jane Doe's attorney of trying to blackmail him. He said further, quote, "These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Would you not agree?" He added, "My only heartbreak is for my family. My wife and I will have to sit our children down, one of whom is at the age where her friends will see the press and ask questions about the nature of these claims and explain the cruelty and greed of people."
If you think about everything he said, if you're able to dissect and go back and listen to all the things he said that were going to happen in the year, you notice everything did happen. I don't know how he knew. I don't know who he talks to or who I mean, what inside information he might have, but everything he said, it came true. Everything he said came true. So there's some truth to everything that he knows, and the fact that he's saying I held back a little bit, he probably has stuff on people, and he just used jabs instead of throwing that haymaker. He could have. I'm assuming he could have ended careers.
There's a possibility.
At Katt Williams, who's getting exposed next? Hashtag Katt has the answers. Well,
Katt Williams is making headlines again, just in time to weigh in on the bombshell news about Jay-Z potentially facing serious legal trouble. Ever since the explosive Diddy scandal, people have been pointing fingers at Jay-Z, accusing him of being just as sinister as the Diddler and allegedly taking part in those notorious freak-offs. Now, the stakes have skyrocketed. Jay-Z has been hit with a lawsuit alongside Diddy, accused of allegedly essaying a 13-year-old after she was laced and left defenseless. You can bet Katt Williams has some fiery words ready for Jay-Z now that the truth is spilling out. This year has already been chaotic ever since Katt's Unforgettable Club Shay Shay interview, but if this is any sign, 2025 is shaping up to be an even wilder ride. Tony Busby has been leading the charge in the Diddy controversy, boldly claiming to have over 100 credible witnesses and victims who allege they were unwilling participants in Diddy's infamous freak-offs. Busby hasn't held back. He's made it clear that he's ready to name names and protect himself if those in power try to silence him. Behind the scenes, Tony has reportedly been contacting celebrities privately, sharing victim testimonies, and urging them to settle quietly before their names are dragged into the spotlight. Some A-listers have allegedly paid up to stay out of the headlines, but from the looks of it, Jay-Z isn't one of them. Back in November, Busby took to Instagram with a cryptic but pointed post, claiming a very powerful John Doe was using every connection possible to intimidate both him and the victims he represents. Though he didn't name anyone directly, he vowed to keep fighting. This declaration came shortly after his law firm filed a lawsuit on behalf of one of Diddy's accusers. The accuser, who was only 13 at the time, alleged that she first encountered Diddy, nicknamed Brother Love, while desperately trying to get into the MTV Music Video Awards. A grown man approached her, telling her she was the perfect fit for Diddy and promising her a seat at the show. Instead, she was taken to an after-party where she was asked to sign an NDA and offered a drink. That drink, she claimed, was spiked. She soon felt dizzy and disoriented and found herself in a room with no furniture, just a large bed. Terrified, she alleged that Diddy entered the room with two other celebrities, a man and a woman, both unnamed in the lawsuit, and that he violently threw her onto the bed like a rag doll. The victim alleges that both Diddy and the male celebrity essayed her, while the female celebrity stood by and watched. When Diddy attempted to essay her again, she fought back, punching him in the neck, grabbing her belongings, and fleeing the room. She ran non-stop until she reached a gas station, where she called her dad and recounted the horrifying ordeal. This alleged incident took place in the early 2000s, and while her initial lawsuit targeted Diddy alone, recent developments have revealed that the other unnamed male in the room was actually Jay-Z. It seems Jay-Z may have anticipated this revelation, as he wasted no time firing back. His legal team responded swiftly, almost immediately after his name was brought into the case. Jay-Z's camp went straight for the jugular, with a pointed message directed at Tony Busby saying, "My lawyer received a blackmail attempt called a demand letter from a lawyer named Tony Busby. What he had calculated was the nature of these allegations, and the public scrutiny would make me want to settle. No, sir, it had the opposite effect. It made me want to expose you for the fraud you are in a very public fashion. So no, I will not give you one red penny. These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever would commit such a crime against against a minor should be locked away, would you not agree? These alleged victims would deserve real justice if that were the case. I have no idea how you have to be such a deplorable human, Mr. Busby, but I promise you, I have seen your kind many times over. I'm more than prepared to deal with your type. You claim to be a Marine. You have made a terrible error in judgment thinking that all celebrities are the same. I'm not from your world. I'm a young man who made it out of the project of Brooklyn. We don't play these types of games. Only your network of conspiracy theorists, fake physics, will believe the idiotic claims you have levied against me that, if not for the seriousness surrounding harm to kids, would be laughable. I look forward to showing you just how different I am. But Tony Busby isn't backing down. He's standing firm and ready to face Jay-Z head-on. In a bold move, Busby issued his own statement on Instagram declaring, despite a coordinated and aggressive effort that has included harassing my kids, contacting my clients and former clients to encourage them to sue me, contacting my colleagues or former employees asking if I've abused them, showing up at my current employees' homes to harass them, filing frivolous cases against me and my law firm, defaming me with outrageous assertions to anyone who will listen, and having mysterious people follow me and my family, I'm still that guy. I won't be bullied or intimidated. People will see through this effort to discredit me and my clients, and the truth will be revealed. I also won't allow anyone to scare my clients into silence. And you know Jaguar Wright is having a field day with this one.
You say, in your opinion, Jay-Z is a bad guy. Like,
well, I know he's a bad guy.
You're alluding, though, to the level of, like, Diddy and his Beyonce equally as bad, or just complicit in letting Jay-Z? Can you sort of elaborate on what your accusation even is?
Kiss the girls. These are two people that have been working in concert, collaborating and competing. These are people that have been covering each other's secrets for decades. That's why I say to sit there and to just make Diddy the acceptable monster and not address his greatest collaborator in all of his business dealings it's a miscarriage of justice. Because what you're doing is you're leaving the other half of this two-headed monster out on the street to still be able to do what they do. While this one looks like he's down.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Well, I mean, allegedly, but the thing is, if none of this is real, how does the CEO of his record conglomerate Rock Nation, how is she a known federal informant whose background is transferring on multiple levels?
When Katt Williams heard that Jay-Z might finally be facing consequences, he reportedly felt like the truth he's held back from saying is finally starting to come out. According to sources, Katt believes this is a moment of justice unfolding. He said that Jay-Z should tread carefully now and use the same sharp instincts that took him from the projects of Brooklyn to the luxury of Bel Air. Because, as Katt pointed out, the pride Jay has been displaying lately is eerily similar to the arrogance Diddy showed with Cassie, and we all know how that ended.
If you sign up for their program, you get a light-skinned, weird-faced wife that never do an interview. Listen, in 20 years, won't do an interview. Nobody's ever talked to her, and she's never been interviewed anywhere. And now, understand, I'm not talking about one person. What I just told you applies to 7 people. How they all end up with that. That's part of what you get. I came in this business saying I was gonna expose. When I talked about Michael Jackson, when I talked about R. Kelly, they canceled me for these things because why would you talk about another black dude? Race is not where the line is drawn. It's God's side and the other side. And we don't care nothing about the other side. Period. All of these big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. T.G. Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way. The truth is the light.
And you have no more of these.
Amen.
Your thoughts on this?
I think one thing that Mr. Busby has in his favor is the standard by which the civil courts are going to have to weigh this. It's not a criminal case. They don't have to prove this beyond a reasonable doubt. They have to prove it by the preponderance of the evidence. And this means... And
yeah, for the average viewer who doesn't know what that means, what does that mean?
It just means that you have to prove more likely than not that it happened, tipping the scale to, let's say, 51% in your favor with respect to the evidentiary standard. Now, Mr. Busby had a press conference a few months back, and during that press conference, he stated that the civil lawsuits that he was moving forward with were ones that were vetted by his office. He stated that he hired an investigator, that investigator gathered further corroborating evidence. And so I'm very curious to see what corroborating evidence he has that he thinks can meet that low burden of proof.
People have also noticed that in Jay-Z's statement, he never directly, or even technically, denied the allegations. Most of his response seemed aimed at criticizing Tony Busby, sidestepping the accusations rather than outright refuting them. On top of that, Jay-Z filed a court motion demanding that Jane Doe reveal her identity instead of staying anonymous while he faces public backlash. But let's be real, anyone with common sense knows that if she reveals her name, Jay-Z and Beyoncé's massive fan base will likely harass her relentlessly, to the point where she might feel forced to leave the country.
You want to know why there's no vindication for me? Because for 4 years, I've been screaming, not just Diddy, but Diddy and Jay-Z are monsters. And the victim-making machine kept going on.
Jay-Z has been notable by his silence since these charges were brought against Diddy. Why do you think that is?
Because that's what he does. He starts little fires everywhere, forces everyone involved to go and carry water while he sneaks away without a response. That changes now, Sean.
A lot of people allowed it to go on, said nothing, didn't intervene, maybe benefited from it, profited from it. All of these individuals and entities, in my view, have exposure here.
Let's be honest, saying Jay-Z's hands are completely clean is like claiming monkeys can fly. From Foxy Brown to Aaliyah, Tierra Mari, and Rihanna, Jay-Z has had some questionable relationships with women who were teenagers at the time. Even Beyoncé reportedly started dating him while she was still a teenager.
That's obvious because Beyonce has a deal there, and they know I know her. So, but you know,
how long have you known her?
Wow, a long time.
How long? 10 years?
However long she's been recording.
Hi, my name is Beyonce. Beyonce Giselle knows. And I'm 16 years old. I just turned 16 about 4 or 5 days ago.
And let's not ignore the fact that Jay-Z and Diddy were close friends for years, practically rising to fame together. It's hard to believe Jay didn't know about Diddy's interests. That leaves two possibilities. Either he saw it all and chose to stay silent, or he shared some of those same disturbing tendencies. A hit dog will holler, and with the way Jay-Z has reacted to the lawsuit and the things Katt Williams has said, nobody is buying his innocence. Let's be real, you'd have to be a die-hard fan to believe Jay-Z isn't guilty of at least half of what he's been accused of over the years. From allegedly pushing drugs to fund his record label, to relationships with young women, and perpetuating negativity in the Black community, Jay-Z's track record is far from spotless. He's a glorified dealer who has seemingly dodged accountability for far too long. This situation should serve as a wake-up call. Celebrities and musicians shouldn't be idolized. Many of our favorite artists might be far worse than we realize, with some even bordering on genuine evil. And let's not pretend there's any version of reality where Jay-Z didn't know exactly what Diddy was up to. They were best friends for decades. He either turned a blind eye or shared similar tendencies. The only explanation? They're cut from the same cloth, plain and simple. Now, Jay-Z has 100 new problems to deal with, and both he and Diddy will be scrambling to put out fires left and right. Let me know what you think in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe, because trust me, you won't want to miss the next deep dive into this explosive Diddy and Jay-Z saga.